That's correct. Actually, that is correct. Hi everyone. Uh, let's do a little banter about something else, and then we can do the publicity for the last after it's been 5.
Yeah. So PR.
Now, I said to do that at 5 after. You're not
Oh, five
listening to
hours.
me.
Oh, I didn't understand what you meant. Okay. So something. You know what I think is really funny
What's that?
that you see a lot
What's that?
is the cycle of like music guru grifters on TikTok who like appear, get 100,000 followers, by like doing videos based on trends that don't actually share any information, but like make you feel like you're learning, and then they disappear. And like I know a lot of these people because a lot of them like reach out to me and they're like, "Can we like white label stuff through you?" And I'm like, "Yeah,
Mm.
whatever." And then they never get any clients, and then I like don't hear from them for a few months, and I go look them up, and they went from like 50,000 followers to like disappeared. And this has happened like 8 or 9 times now, and I think it's really funny.
There's this 2-year thing that like all the scammers and grifters, like I always said, I hear a name for 2 years and then they disappear. Is a really common trajectory. Another common trajectory is what do you call it? My favorite thing, like just like no one should ever buy a playlisting service because they have Instagram ads. The other thing is if you book a call with somebody whose bio is guru, you are literally the next thing you're gonna do is buy fucking essential oils from someone you went to high school with.
I mean, yeah, I also think like yeah, all that stuff is just hilariously corny and poorly thought out, and I just yeah, a lot of it makes me worry more than anything else. Um, but whatever. And then the other piece is those guys who just like for me it's just like look at other people's history. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if you look at like people will specifically tell me, "Oh, you and Jesse Cannon are like the realest motherfuckers doing this." Which is cool, but like the only reason that Jesse and I are the realest motherfuckers doing this is because we're the only ones who've been going to hardcore shows our entire lives and like actively part of the scene. There's a few other people out there like creating cool content who I think are like legit, who are actively part of the scene. But it's like, is this person in photos with musicians where they are clearly famous musicians where they are clearly friends or not?
I don't take photos with any of the musicians. That's the thing you do, and you're like the only person who does it. When I mean, let's put it this way: I was backstage with The Cure this week. I did not take a picture of it.
That's fair. Um, Jesse flexing his Cure relationship.
I know. It is one of my better flexes. Is like like getting a text from Robert Smith and really impressing everyone around me.
I once did that when I was emailing with. I have this clear memory of emailing Roger from that band, doing an email interview with him, but it was like a live.
Roger's the best in that band.
It was like a live email interview rather than me just like submitting my questions and him replying.
Yep.
And I remember playing pool. I was 19. I remember playing pool with my friends while Roger from The Cure was emailing me, and like nobody believed it. And I was like, yeah, like,
there we go.
you know.
Okay, I think it's been enough time. Let's have this quick PR discussion while the rest of the chat floods in, and then we'll get started.
Yeah. So, basically, here's my viewpoint on this: is if you're an artist who doesn't have a ton of stuff going on, getting a bunch of articles written about your song is not going to actually move the needle because nobody's going to click those articles. Like if you're a metal band and you get on Metal Injection, you're going to get like 6 clicks or something. Like I don't know the exact number, but I know it's like comedically low. Like those sites for traditional press. Now I know what Jesse's going to say. Jesse's going to talk about influencer campaigns and other stuff.
Nope, that's not my argument.
Okay. But I'm just saying, in my experience, which is primarily rock and metal, if you're a small artist getting on even a very big, cool site, people are just scrolling past you. It's having next to no impact, and I don't know. It just seems like maybe the pull quotes are helpful, but I feel like you're much better off spending that exact same money on like making your video that much more dope, getting that much more live content, getting that many more live photos, because that stuff's actually going to like. And once the ball is rolling, then you get PR, and then it can be helpful. But the ball has to be rolling, and there has to be like a story for people to check in on, rather than just, oh, we just started our band. Here's our PR campaign,
All
which is
right.
where I feel a lot of it's coming from.
So the two things that I'll say are very wrong is one, I had a call with Spotify, one of the heads of all the playlist people who curate things. And when I had that call with her, I was like, okay, what do you actually want? She's like, well, we really like to see press quotes from outlets that say something because then it gives validation more past you. And I'm like, okay, well, that's interesting that helps with editorial pitches. And that's real. That's from her mouth. I mean, she did also admit that the playlist curators do whatever the fuck they want because humans do what they want. And we all have had bosses and we don't pay attention to what they say. But still, that's something they tell them to consider. I've also seen that Burstamo has shared the same tidbit from their call with probably the same person I talked to. And then secondly, the people who devour those things and look through them for new music are often some of the most important music listeners. So a good example I have is the guy who runs my recording studio has a band. They're very good. And they would get premieres on, let's say, Substream or something like that. And they'd be like, oh, 500 streams, whoop-de-doo, not really a big thing. But then what they'd notice is a week later, managers, other people in the business writing them, hey, saw you on Substream, really like the songs. Now, a lot of people aren't going to have this happen because, let's be honest, most people make terrible music. But what I do tend to see over and over again is that when people pay in certain genres, now some genres it is totally fucking worthless, like pop music, hip hop, EDM, any of those blogs, totally worthless. But like in a punk indie world, some of the more obscure styles of electronic music, that stuff really, really, really helps. If you're a little bit of a weird act and you get in the Wires news thing, I've had clients who've said like that's how they got their manager that they're on the call with me with.
Yes, I guess my counter argument is every subgenre, from what I can tell, has like really only 2 to 3 sites that like actually matter for that subgenre.
Sure, yeah.
And I feel like in most cases, the people running said site is just like kind of a big nerd who like you can connect with on your own in a lot of cases.
I will be honest with you. I've seen people try to connect on their own and then do the thing. Now, the other thing is
Well, that's fair too.
that all these publicists have mostly learned that there's not much there to do. Now, what I think is also interesting is a lot of the publicists I recommend are getting reaction videos done by YouTubers now. They're doing much more weird things rather than just getting you a premiere.
Yeah.
And those are undoubtedly healthy. I mean,
Yes.
it's insane to watch. If I literally am I'm about to start taping a video on this, but like the way those move the needle in certain genres is fucking wild.
Yes, absolutely.
The last thing I was gonna say that you touched on a little that I think should be clarified on. What I will say to people is that doing publicity without eventful things planned already, meaning that you have some sort of music video that's not just, you filmed it in front of a green screen and you put a fish tank in the background, like that you're actually doing something that somebody would say, yo, look at this. Unless you have those things or good marketing ideas, you are definitely wasting your money on publicity.
And yeah, this is the thing, is I think I see a lot of people just doing it so they can get articles written about them, but they're not backing it up. And then it's like, what's the point? Because even if you do get on Substream and you do get like the cool positive review, like I've seen it happen. There was a metal band I worked with who got a really good review in Angry Metal Guy, which is the only
Yes.
metal blog that will get you sales straight up.
Yep.
You know, like you can be an underground band, you get a 9 out of 10 review there, you're going to sell 50 copies because they're just the best.
It's the same way that you're going to get 50,000 streams if Fantano mentions you.
Yeah. But like what I found is, okay, so that page, meaningful streams, like genuine real fans type. Okay. The problem is that if you're not doing more stuff, like you sold those 50 copies, sick. That's the one site that lets you do that. You have to do other stuff. Otherwise, those people who all checked you out.
Yeah.
They're done now.
All right. We should bring this to a close, but
Yeah.
I see Charlie Black is asking, how do you go about contacting people for YouTube reaction videos? And that's what publicists get paid for, because they gatekeep the email addresses, because that's the only thing they're good for. What you're really paying for with a publicist, a lot of people think it's and it can be the case when you pay for a high-end publicist, is you think you're paying for somebody with a plan and with knowledge and strategy. 99 times out of 100, that is not the case. But what you're really paying for is that they've tracked down those numbers and have enticed that person by saying, hey, I work with this group, this group, this group. I'm going to send you things, and when they're in town, I'm going to give you tickets. So that's really the way that they have any worth paying. On to roasting TikToks, Matt.
Here we go.
Let's go in the chat and see who's dropped their things. Okay, Smoky Music. Did I spell that right? Let's find out. I should also give everybody a thing. I am not feeling well, people. So you're not going to see the fastest Jesse Cannon today. Okay. Matt, I know you have a lag, so I will do this. Artist, producer, Indie Music Monthly. Let's find our piece together. I think this bio could do a lot of work there, buddy. Artist, producer, this is Indie Music Monthly. Like, this is not telling people, it's not specific enough to give anybody anything enticing here.
Yeah. Like, literally, if you just put the genre up, we would already know.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do this. This one has a pretty high engagement rate. Let's look at it.
We'll all be alright. At least that's what they tell me. The bills will be just fine. We'll pay them next week. I'm trying. That's all that matters, right? See, I'm just a painter. How could I ever change my life? 'Cause money don't make me a man. It only ever took time away.
Okay, I'm going to hit stop because this is so long and should not be this long at all. This is good, and particularly, this is something we didn't discuss last time, Matt, is using these effects that give like a color hue and a grain to it. The kids respond very well to that stuff. Downloading some $5-10 app that feels like the vibe and the waviness of your song is really, really good money spent. Same thing, if you're editing in DaVinci, downloading some packs of effects and old school filters can really, really do a lot for your content. Matt?
Yes, that's good. The other thing that I think is clever here is having a pet in the content.
Oh, yeah. I forgot to mention that, yeah.
That's like, we didn't see any like that last week, but like having an animal in the content, game changer. You know what I mean? Like,
it's truly the butt pick of the animal kingdom.
I mean, it's like, I used to manage a band where like I got my cat kind of randomly by accident. And the way I paid for that cat was I would just post pictures of the band's merch with the cat. And then that would sell enough merch that I could just like afford to feed the cat.
I like this. Lauren and I have decided that when we get our next dog in a month or two, that if they really have to be an influencer dog to pay their way through it.
I mean, but actually, or I just saw.
Not really, but actually, we're not doing that. I'm not
But
making content.
what's that band you have like the dog who goes on tour with them?
So a lot of bands who do that. I mean, Teen Suicide, my friends, they bring their dog out sometimes.
But there's this other band. There was a band I saw that had like their dog has like an influencer account.
Yeah, I this is sounding familiar to me, but it's not doing it. Okay.
But anyway,
well, yeah, the point being, cute pets in general, really good exploit. You know what's another one? Plants. People love plants, man.
yes.
I mean, as someone whose girlfriend keeps telling him that she has a plant budget for their new apartment that I'm apparently paying for, boy, do I know this.
Oh yeah, I also my girlfriend also has a plant budget, and it's fascinating. I feel like, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, let's watch another one.
Yeah. So the one thing I want to say is, and I'm not gonna go off on the hashtags too much on this one since we really did that a lot last time. But absolutely none of these hashtags are doing you any good. They're way too broad and they're wrong. Yet again, hashtags should be for the people most likely to like your music and very niche, not huge broad things. And Vibe Check definitely does nothing. Okay, should we watch one with a high engagement rate or a low one? Actually, let's do this. This one has a very high one. This has 17%. And it has one.
How I wish you were here. We're just two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl, year after year.
Okay, I totally get why this did well. Because, one, most people know this song that would get at it. But two, there's a really interesting thing that I think that's one of the least exploited things on TikTok and things I constantly see do big numbers, yet I never see it as a trend because I think it takes a little brain power, and let's be honest, musicians' brain power, not so much. Analyzing song lyrics, writing even what you interpret from a song lyric, or writing like, when Death Cab for Cutie said the glove compartment is inaccurately named and everyone knows it. I really felt that because you know what else is inaccurately named, and you say, me, because my band name is this, or you find something like that and you do a flip on it. That shit is TikTok gold. I see that boom up. Like every time I take note of that, I'm like, I can't believe more people don't do this because the numbers are huge whenever I get it in my feed.
Yeah. I fucking tell me about it. But like, it's also just like any piece of nostalgia content always does well, which is like the big thing. That's like why bands don't die after 40 years is because nostalgia content is just going to work, and it's going to work, and it's going to work. So you have that piece too, which they took advantage of here.
Dark Side of the Moon is the second best-selling long-running album of all time. Do you know what the first is, Matt?
I honestly thought it was Dark Side of the Moon. Is it?
It got replaced when it fell off the charts. It fell off the charts before Appetite for Destruction stayed on longer.
But the best-selling is Thriller.
I didn't say best-selling. Longest running on the charts.
Oh, longest run. Oh, Black Album.
That's not true. Appetite for Destruction is longer because it has an advantage. It's a few years older.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Yeah. No, I'm sure the Black Album, I mean, for as long as cops need music to beat their wives to, the Black Album will sell. There we go, people. There we go. All right. Let's do another profile. All right. Hey, Julius. I'm like literally so burnt out that like I can barely memorize 8 keystrokes. It's very good. Very good where my brain is. All right. This matches the avatar I just saw. your everyday musicians, that's not so bad, right? I kind of like that, even though I think you should do Curiosity, but like that at least is strong. So we got a 6% engagement rate, which is kind of low. If I see that on an overall profile, I'm thinking you need to think about quality a little bit more than quantity. Okay.
What's my engagement rate?
What's that?
What's my engagement rate?
Let's find out. Let's do another tab for you. Oh, this is a ripoff. Look at this. This person like AI'd your face or something.
Wait, really?
No, I'm kidding. Did I do this right? Is it not a Z? There.
It's
There
an
we
S.
go.
God
It's a
damn,
Z.
bro.
Dude, I am really out of it. You have a 10% engagement rate. That's good. It's not great. It's good though.
I mean, that makes sense, but it's also like the level of quantity, like kind of artificially deflates it.
Okay, I think this one's interesting. This one has 28,000 plays. Let's see what's up with it.
Nice guitar you got there.
Thanks, man. It's a Gretsch Cadillac. It's actually built from the 80s, so it's quite vintage. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I think that's pretty cool. Mine is from the 60s. It's a Duesenberg TV custom.
Oh yeah, I did some customization on my guitar as well. Yeah, it's pretty cool, yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. On my guitar, John Lennon actually changed the pickups himself.
Oh, that's cool, yeah. Well, Jimi Hendrix wrote a poem on the back of my guitar, so that's quite unique, I guess.
Yeah, okay. Well, my guitar was gifted to Herman Lee's mother when she was pregnant with him by John Lennon himself, and also Paul McCartney signed on the back.
You know what's really interesting? Kurt Cobain learned playing on a Gretsch Cadillac himself, so yeah, he signed the neck of the guitar, so I have like him and Jimi Hendrix, at one place actually.
Well, the bridge on my guitar was adjusted by Jesus himself when Michael
Does it
Jackson brought
ever
it back to
end?
life in the 80s.
You know, I like it when guitars are more on the technical side. So I had the tuning mechanics I have on my Gretsch. They are invented by Nikola Tesla, so that's pretty innovative, I think.
Well, my guitar was materialized by God himself.
May I try it out, perhaps, or would you mind?
Sure.
I think there's some problematic with the intonation. I think that E string isn't. Something is going on there.
That's actually a custom adjustment that Darkwing Duck made just before I got it.
How much did you pay for the guitar?
$200. Nice guitar you got there.
Thanks, man. It's a Gretsch.
So I have to say that's very good, but that should have been 3 parts. Like you could have just continued the bit from video to video. But like that is a fantastic idea of content musician would love, and it is actually a hard thing to do on TikTok. Genuinely funny. I laughed I think 3 times.
Yes.
But yeah,
I think the jokes were good. The jokes were like clearly. This is the thing, right? Is like I think everyone wants to make like lowest common denominator jokes, and that is inherently bad, right? Whereas like when you make a very specific like. Because part of what makes stuff funny, especially on the internet, is when there's an inside joke aspect to it, right? Like it's much funnier if I make a Neutral Milk Hotel joke than if I make a Taylor Swift joke.
Yeah.
Because the people who get, a Neutral Milk Hotel is what's our friend's Instagram bio? A Neutral Milk Hotel is a complicit milk hotel. Like that's a way funnier thing to say than like some sort of Taylor Swift singing about guys she breaks up with joke. Like and it's a lot harder to make a joke that is lowest common denominator, right? So when you do like specific pieces of humor, people connect a lot more, and that's exactly what this is. And because it's musicians who are 95% of your first 10,000 fans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's watch this one, and then we'll see what happens after that.
Do you know that feeling when you rationally know that something is pretty hefty, but deep down you just don't give a frick? We kind of wrote a soundtrack about that.
I want to say...
Wait till it's done, Matt.
Never let it go. You're the one who understands, no one else.
Okay, I've yet again this is a video that should have been much, much, much shorter, and it probably would have performed even better. It's pretty good. The one thing I would say too, though, is if we were able to see when people swiped, I bet you it was when you were very out of focus. One of the things to remember with shots is having a lot of face keeps people engaged and keeps people from swiping. I mean, look at Matt's videos. His face is always just so up in it. But like, there we go. That's what the people are looking for, that pretty face. But like, truly, when you're out of focus, you're not having as much engagement. A lot of people respond to the eye contact thing. I mean, there's AI things to make eye contact now. World is getting crazy. What do you call it? But yeah, I would do that. The other thing I want to say is this song will be released on June 23rd, independent artist, all of that. And this, yet again, just like we said last week, this ain't your father's Instagram. This is TikTok. Ask something that's going to get engagement. Don't treat it like an announcement.
One thing they did here that I want to point out real fast is they leaned into the Europeanness. Which, so just hear me out, because that has two things. One, its authenticity is valuable, and like, and I guess they're Finnish, and like, they have a sense of humor about it, you know, like with his dance and like the whole way they portray it, like that's good. But two, nothing is cringier than being an artist pretending to be you're from somewhere else. And the people who are most guilty of this are Europeans pretending to be American. And that's almost always very cringe and weird, unless, and it doesn't work. You know what I mean? Like, so am I making sense, Jesse?
Yeah, no. I think you were clear there.
And
it's just the authenticity.
And that sounds kind of weird. When you're like actually consuming Europeans pretending to be American, you understand like why that's weird.
Yeah. Okay, we're on to another one. I'm going to scroll around, try to find.
Wait, real fast, Jesse. How do you get the engagement rate? People are asking about that.
Oh, vidIQ. I talked about that last week. I don't know what vidIQ's platforms are. I pay way too much money for analytic tools every month. But vidIQ is I would go as far to say that this is, of the analytic tools, vidIQ is the best one. The problem is it doesn't have some things, so then you need TubeBuddy as well. But yeah, it's good. Okay, this one has 4,000, which looks to be one of their bigger ones. Let's watch this.
Isamu. Local band plays to thousands of people.
Well, that's awkward. The Defend Pop Punk. For people who don't get it, I used to manage the band whose slogan was that, and I made a bajillion shirts of it. Okay, here's the thing. That is not an earworm. That is a part of a song. You should be doing the best hook of your song and making that as little as you need as possible so that it repeats well and it seamlessly loops at some point. Having the end of your song ring out and having this, people are just going to scroll and it's going to drive down the rate. It's actually shocking to me that this got as many plays, but also I'll tell you why it got as many plays. The song is good, but if you optimized that same exact footage, I guarantee you, if you put this video up and just did the best part of the hook here, and as minimum as possible, it'll probably do way better. And if you get rid of all these ridiculously bad hashtags.
Here's my 2 cents on it. So the text on screen hook is really good, right? That, you know, local band plays to thousands of people. That immediately makes you go, oh, wow, what's happening here? Okay. But when you're doing a video where you play in front of a bunch of people, show the crowd a little more because that creates like a sense of connection. Like I find this like running the Metal Blade TikTok. A lot of our stuff that does best is the stuff weirdly that like the band is playing their song, but it focuses on the crowd moshing or having a good time or whatever. And that tends to have like the bigger impact is like the crowd, so maybe if you were to recut this video and put your hook more front and center, maybe try to cut in more crowd shots from what you've got, because I think especially if you can get like someone crowd surfing, like that does insane numbers, honestly, because
Yeah.
I think
Well, I think something that and you're making a great point here, but something a lot of people miss is that a lot of marketing is showing these could be your friends if you're joining
Yes.
this thing, and this is what you could be doing with your friends. The example I use all the time in the video I regret making the most on my entire channel is the short I made about Sum 41 Fat Lips video, because what it did at the time was the consensus among punk kids, and I know because I was one of them at this time, because I am old as dirt, was that we can like rap, we can like rock, but that rap rock shit is cringe. But then they did it in a cool way with punk. But what they did in the video is they showed that other punk kids liked it already, so that it made it feel more acceptable. And like the reason you see videos like Be About Who Be and Pink Panthers have both done the one in recent times where they just show, here's a bunch of freaks and they love this music. You're a freak. Why don't you come to the freak party? And that is powerful marketing.
Well, and it's also just like this is literally why hardcore got exponentially more popular over the pandemic. Is people watched our friend Sunny post videos to 856 of people going to shows and having fun.
Yeah.
That's it. If you're trying to get
Matt,
your shows have to look fun.
Matt, explain Hate 56. Most people don't know this. It's very good.
Right. Sorry. Hate56 is a website where this guy is completely independent. The guy who runs it is a little bit crazy, but like in an impressive way. And he just has been filming thousands of hardcore sets, but it's mostly hardcore punk, but it's also rock and metal and
mostly hardcore though.
Yeah, but it's well captured, usually on multiple angles.
Couple cameras throughout the set. Not even always the highest quality cameras.
He's standing on stage filming. Yeah, high quality cameras.
No, no, it's not always the highest. I believe he was using iPhones at first.
Oh yeah, but it's gotten really good. And it's also like it feels very personal. It's well edited. He gives everything away for free. Like you can tip him. Like usually if my bands are going to use this footage, I make them tip him.
Yeah.
But it's like, but that's what it is people see those videos and they can see, are people having fun at the show? Right. And you can tell which videos pop off or which don't. But if you look at the crowds, it's often because those crowds are having fun. And if those people are having fun, then people go, oh, I should go see that. But if people are standing around bored because you're fucking lame live, then...
Another thing, speech to text at the top of the video. Especially if the speech reads wrong. If you're just doing your hook, don't have it read it. Don't ruin the hook.
Yes.
Okay. I feel like we spent a lot of time on that one and I want to get to more. So we're going to move on to our next one, which is Joel Cassett Music. All right. Joel. There we go. Okay. 21,000 followers. Oh, I remember Joel. I watched this before. So former sad boy, currently less sad boy. I think that's actually one of the better bios we've gotten here.
Yes.
Van Isle Loser Core Emo is also pretty good. Like, so yet again, people, the reason we're saying this is good is if you know these vocabulary terms, you're going to be like, oh, this is for me. Like, this is a thing. And
It's
with
it's the
4,
specific joke versus the broad thing.
and you can see he's got 4.2 million likes. He's doing damn well. I remember some of
On
these
not a
were,
lot of followers, like a good amount of followers, but not like.
but I see he's doing the smart thing here. Like all the videos are the same set, same dress, very important stuff that really helps you get followers. But
I wonder if we know anyone who does something similar.
gee, who could they be? It's funny on these live streams. I can't take wearing the pink hat out in public anymore. So I've just not been wearing it. Now it feels bad when I wear it. I got punished very bad in Bushwick the other night. Okay, let's do this one with 250,000 views.
Lines I've completely ignored. There's an amount to take, reasons to take more. Lines I've completely ignored. There's an amount to take, reasons to take more.
Well, that's very good. What do you call it? So this is interesting what he's doing on the things. He's hashtagging a lot of bands that are somewhat similar to this. I wonder though. Matt, do you have a feeling on this? Like, I think like the funny thing about the dynamic of hashtagging other bands is like I think it's worth trying, but if it's not working, delivering you numbers, I think a lot of the time that's because people are disappointed it's not that artist.
Yes, but it's a good joke about that artist.
Yes.
And so here's my view on it, right? Is like I assume based on his bio that he makes music like the Front Bottoms.
Yeah, that definitely sounded like the Front Bottoms.
That's a Front Bottoms song that he was sampling. So, but the point I'm trying to make is like, so if you're making, sad boy pop punk or emo loser core, whatever he calls it, right? Then people who consume that are going to also think jokes about Front Bottoms are funny because they're like the poster child of that emo loser core genre. So you can go make that joke. Apes of the State is another good example. Well, they'll like make a joke about Rail Yard Ghosts or about whatever other folk, like Johnny Hobo. They make so many Johnny Hobo and Pat the Bunny jokes all the time because everyone who likes folk punk likes those artists. And so content about that is going to make you go, oh, like this is someone who like knows what's up in my genre. I should go see what else they do. And then you find their music, which is directly inspired by Pat the Bunny, Johnny Hobo, Rail Yard Ghosts. And then bam, same thing here. If he's making music directly inspired by Front Bottoms and he's making good Front Bottoms type music, having those jokes about those influences is going to draw those people in, and tagging those similar bands is going to draw those people in.
Yeah. All right, let's watch one more because this one actually has close to 500,000, which is impressive. Yes, this is a very good joke, and it has a popular song in it.
Same thing.
Yeah. Top comments about Black Veil Brides. Jesus. What do you call it?
Shout out. That second record rules.
I'm not giving you any quarter on Black Veil Brides being a band that's listenable. Okay. Good work, Joel. I think that this is our first one that really is like you're on track. And even, the 9% average engagement rate, I would say, that usually is the hint that you're like, you're obviously capable of quality. That would be my hint that you would probably want to think about quality about 5 to 10% more. And you can probably get a little bit more mileage out of things. For people not getting what I'm saying, nearly everything in life is a trade-off between quantity and quality when we have time. And sometimes you need to say, I'm going to spend more time developing and less time making. And I'd say a hair more time developing and a little less time making to try to get better quality. It's about the only critique I could give because you're good at this. Okay, let's do someone else.
While Jesse pulls that up real fast, Nostalgia played a huge role in that again.
Who?
And it,
Nostalgia, yes.
nostalgia content doesn't need to be from the 70s. It can be from, I think that Front Bottom song came out 10 years ago.
What do you call it? Now we have Wormser, DJ X producer, way too broad, doesn't tell you anything about genre, dopest geek you'll ever meet. While I like that, also yet again doesn't really tell you much about what we're gonna think, doesn't niche down enough. And let's look through. 294, 318. Okay. Let's try 318.
I just realized what I did. I had to go to Target to get some diapers, and I realized I'm wearing this extra large shirt and some shorts, and I'm not wearing a hat, which is kind of the same thing as not having any makeup on. And I ended up going to Starbucks and like actually shopping around and looking at stuff. And ladies, I get it. I just realized what I did.
So this is fun, but I think like the syntax got a little lost. Like the point could have been made a little bit more clear. Matt, you have anything, or should I try another one that's more music based?
No, I mean, I think that's basically it, but I do think it's cool, like,
go ahead.
being comfortable just talking to a camera is always a good skill.
Yep, agreed. Okay, let's try this one since it looks more music based.
It's 88 and Worm. This shit is so gnarly. About to get dirty like flows at a phone party. About to show out like something they never seen, ho. Got your girl one leg up like a flamingo. I'm feeling lucky, I'm winning big. No casino, it's Worms of madness. No time for practice. Blue lights, they mean go. It's 88 and Worm. This shit is...
I think compositionally this is good. But yet again, these hashtags are taking it to very bad places. Matt?
My take is you didn't need this much text on screen. And especially when it's like that sort of editing, you're kind of good with a little less. Like you could have just put gnarly or nah, and then the caption could have been who's bumping that song. And that would have done the same thing. And it would have been less cluttered.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Okay, now we got Ranka Music. Let's see. 1.2 million likes. That's pretty damn good.
More than me.
You know what I've never seen? Have you ever seen that, Matt? With that much space down, putting the lines in between? That's interesting.
I've seen people do that, yes. It's
never
weird.
seen that in profile view. All right, this one has 80,000. That might be a good candidate. Let's watch that one.
Push me and then just touch me till I can get mine. If you do fucking come and push me and then just touch me. Push me and
Nice. I mean, what do you call it? There's an interesting one on TikTok. As much as I'm not like, I don't think it should be a strategy, but there is something about celebrating something cool happening to you that doesn't happen to everybody that kind of does get the algorithm going off a little sometimes. That like, it's almost like people want to support you for something good happening because they want that too.
I think if you show genuine excitement too, it's hard to like be mad at people. I think
that's a great point, actually.
Like if you show up and you're just like genuinely like, oh my God, like I posted a TikTok about like hanging out with Greg Ginn and how like Greg Ginn bought me a beer. And that's like the reason Jesse and I have jobs is that guy. And
for people who don't know, there's an amazing book called Get in the Van by Henry Rollins. And it's all about how Black Flag basically invented DIY touring. Invented might be a strong word. Black Flag kind
made
of
it feasible.
Maybe the right thing is really perfected that era of touring, and Greg Ginn was a lot of the mind behind that and the mind behind SST Records.
Yeah, and DIY music in general comes from this guy.
I wouldn't go there, but no matter what, yeah, interesting guy. Also,
Anyway,
pioneered not paying bands royalties. That's a different story, though.
My man.
Okay, this one has 352,000. Let's see what's happening here.
Not only have you been tagging me in this way too many times, one of the comments actually has over 2,000 likes. What? But yeah, I have so much work to do, at least 2 songs I need to finish as soon as possible, so if you think that I'm going to be doing this instead, you're totally correct. See, the easy way out would be just make a funk thing, like one of the comments stated, but funk is not really my thing. But if it was my thing, it would probably sound something like... But it's not my thing. I'm more of a boots and cats kind of guy. Or like we say it in Finland, ukkis-äitis, which is a reference to another TikTok that's been filling the shit out of my inbox.
Ukkis-äitis, ukkis-äitis, nahkatakki, toppatakki. Ukkis-äitis, 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 nahkatakki, toppatakki.
So yeah, we're doing house. I'm gonna sample this, rearrange it a bit, and use it among other elements in the drop. I think I'm done. To be honest, I don't even know anymore.
Okay. So what's interesting with this one is you probably could have gotten 3 to 4 TikToks out of this that all would have done well. This is a great idea, but yet again, kind of similar to what we were talking about before, is chopping this down more. Damn it. 1 second. I got to empty the trash here.
But it got 350,000 plays, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, that's really impressive. Hold on. I have to actually do something real fast. I did not realize I'm out of hard drive space, and I don't want this to stop recording, so I'm going to delete a bunch of files real fast.
But so while Jesse does that, I've never actually seen, I don't think I've seen a TikTok that was like that long and felt that long that did that well. Like,
yeah, no, I agree.
You see TikToks do well for sure, but that just, with the way the edits were and having multiple subjects in it, was what I thought was interesting. Like usually longer TikToks have one subject, and here he kind of did a couple.
Yeah, and also, yet again, like we said before, the dog, that was God tier. Like, I'd watch that again just to see the dog rocking out to the song.
Yeah, and also the mask is, like, cleverly done and isn't, like... I feel like if you're going to have a mask, you kind of need to have, like, the voice for it.
Yeah.
No, but, like, you know what I mean? Because there's people where that backfires.
No, and you know, too, even having your branding on the shirt there, also really good, because it's like just reinforcing. Some people say corny, but like, honestly, I think that's pretty good. It looks stylish, looks good, feels right with everything. I have to say, it's pretty good. Okay, let's get to some more, since we should try to get to as many people as possible. Yeah, my computer is acting crazy now that I didn't catch that. Every time you do a stream, you learn something new. Brandon, that's not how you spell that. All right, let's see. Counts Brandon Patrick .11. Okay. Let's see what comes up. Brandon Patrick .11. Got it. Artist, singer, songwriter, filmmaker, storyteller. Okay, this is not your dating profile. We're trying to get people curious about you and show them what type of community you're in, not pick up somebody on Hinge.
Is that what people put in their Hinge bios?
That's technically Hinge is a little different. Fun fact, I met my girlfriend on a Hinge. let's do this one as 931. Okay, this is actually a good, interesting discussion. So one of the things I think is really bad advice is chasing trends on TikTok. But I would like to say this is not what I like to call a trend. This is a trope. So a trope is more like a style and a skeleton that people flip their own things on. And when these things happen and doing how you can bring it into your personality dash your music, and we're all doing the like same format from CapCut in the templates, those can be great to do. And yeah, I think this is like a good, funny one. Tying it back to music is good. Matt?
Yeah, I think what I like about it is that it's like a personality building one. Right? Like, I think anything that helps build your persona and helps tell the story of you as a creator is really valuable, because I think it's like, at least we see that a few times now, right? Like, where people are flipping through and they can quickly get a taste of like, oh, this person has this sense of humor and this whatever. That's really impactful.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, let's look at one more of theirs and then we'll move on. Let's see if there's anything. Okay, 3,000. Let's see what happens.
Can you show me?
So here's why you need scales. Scales tell you which notes are in a key, basically. So if you know the scales, then you can basically play any song in that key if you can memorize where the note positions are, and you can memorize what notes make up those chords. So if you're just starting now, you don't want to do what I did and learn chord shapes and just play those for years, because I've seriously stunted my growth as a musician and as a guitarist. So as of now, I'm going back through and learning scales as if I just picked up the guitar right now. So site that I'm using to learn started us with the A minor pentatonic scale, so I can just show you that today. So I just do 1 4 1 3 1 3 1 3 1 4 1 4, and then back down 4 1 4 1 3 1 3 1 3 1 4 1. So the reason this is good is if I was to play along with a song in A minor right now, you can kind of figure the melodies out by ear just using those scales. But anyway, that's the A minor pentatonic scale.
Okay, so this is good content to make, because as Matt was saying, and that Matt and I harp on all the time and clap back at some of the bigger morons in our field about getting, talking to musicians is some of the best ways to get early fans, because musicians investigate stuff and they see, like, if you're talking about the A minor pentatonic scale, they'll often check out your music. This is a great early growth strategy. But this video had, I'm going to say, not the best pacing I've ever felt. And then the other thing to remember, and we talked about this a little last week, is you don't want momentum to die. You don't want to do a final saying thing. You don't want to reiterate at the end. You want it to just flip unexpectedly so that it replays, and then TikTok sees it as better in the algorithm. But I will say, a lot of good hashtags in here, but hashtag I know I'm bad, not good. Not good.
Yeah, my main complaint was the pacing. Probably could have turned this into a couple videos. And also, don't be afraid to reshoot stuff, because I feel like the way he was explaining scales wasn't necessarily the best. So just keep that in mind, I think. Is like, you can, like, I definitely will like reshoot a chunk of a Bacon's Bits like 2-3 times if I feel like I didn't say something the right way. And I feel like he could have gotten his point across more clearly, more concisely, if he had just tried saying that a few times. And like, sometimes I'll even just run it by a friend, you know, where I'll be like, hey, did this make sense, or should I say it this way? You know, so just, I want to answer a question in the comments real fast. Yeah. Can you elaborate on why chasing trends on TikTok is not a good idea? You can start. I have my opinion, but you go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So here's a perfect one. Trending sounds, for example. So let's say this week the Kim Petras throat goat sound is trending, and then you do a video about your music to it or something like that. that's going to bring you to not niche audiences and too broad an audience and doesn't really do anything. There's a girl recently who talked about this, about like how doing all the trends, sure, it got her followers, but it never translates to the music thing. You want to find the right people. And yet again, algorithms are all about having the right people. Hence why there's a lot of angry people about my video I put up today about the Facebook ads thing, which that's a story for another time. And Matt and I debated Facebook ads like a year ago or two on this channel. If you want to watch that too, that's there. And Matt took the defend, I took the fuck them angle. Anyway, here's my point. When you do niche things around your music, you form algorithmic things with people who are similar. And then the algorithms look at people who like similar things and serve it to them. When you're doing big, long trends, you're polluting the pool by being around a lot of things that are not connected to your music.
Yeah, basically that. I also think it's just very rarely does a trend actually help tell your story as an artist. And usually when I see people doing, sometimes there's a trend that's like right on, or people find a way to make a trend really fit into their thing, which is cool. And then it makes sense, and then it draws in people. But usually if you're just doing a trend to do a trend, or using a sound to use a sound, which is the vast majority of videos like this I see, it's like, oh, okay, so now I'll break from our normal brand to go do this thing to shill myself for views.
To go put a pancake on my grandmother's head.
Yeah, or whatever.
That was a trend I saw a few weeks ago. It was incredibly stupid. Anyway, okay. Matt, how do you feel about time? I feel like I could do 15 minutes more, and then I have to lay down.
I could do 15 minutes more, but I need to call someone.
Yeah, I am very, very exhausted, so I can't make this a long one.
Yeah, Jesse's having a rough day, guys.
Just do not recommend moving this often to anyone. Same time, I got a really nice place. Okay, let's try this one. It has 10,000 views. Hell yeah, brother.
Oh, yes, it's showtime.
You know that the most important thing is present moment, right? Because there you can set your intention. That is our best gift. And that's why
Not earworms. This is a portion of your song. An earworm is a short hook that gives people a sample. Since you're more likely to get your TikTok recommended if it flips over, finding as little of it as you can that's infectious to spread will do you better. This is fantastically produced. I could have been a little more fast-paced at times, but truly, this would do so much better if you got that trimmed down to just an earworm and probably played the song from the very beginning of it, even in the setup, and then faded it up.
Yes. Yeah. I just want to point out, using the cat, I think the only reason this got as many views as it did was, especially with the song not starting right at the beginning, was that the cat kept people hooked.
Yeah, I have to say that. And then, you know, it's another really good TikTok trick is when you transition scenes. And like, that was like a very cool scene transition. So like, what do you call it? I feel like a lot of times I feel like you take place, like there's that saying that, I may have said this on stream last week, but like the worst writing is and the best writing is but then this happened. But then, because if you're just going on and then, you know, like as the saying goes, it was a Good Burger, no and then. You wanted but then as much as possible.
Right. I think the Always Sunny's writers were talking about using because of this, rather than and then, which is kind of similar.
That's funny. I have not heard that, but my day job is with one of the Always Sunny writers. Actually works at the Daily Beast as well, so I'll have to ask her. Okay.
I might be misremembering. That's entirely possible.
I'm very curious. It sounds right. All right. Mirror Lake, Texas. Okay, I wrote that properly. Let's see.
Just a quick note on this while Jesse's finding one. There's huge value to having the same profile picture on all your shit.
Oh, yeah.
Because
great point.
Literally, Jesse is finding people because they have the same profile picture here as they do on TikTok. And it makes it a lot easier to kind of cross-platform. Trying to have the same handle everywhere else, too, is really good. Just FYI.
All right. So having a date 6 months from now for a song, 5 months, whatever it is, that is, while it's nice for you, no one's marking their calendar for that and you're wasting space. Matt, how do you feel? Yeah. I don't know if it's just me, but writing official account feels like MySpace, not like the modern day. It's one thing when people do something funny, like they know they're not famous and it's like a thing, but like it just doesn't feel right to me. Like when people do that, how do you feel?
I feel the same way. I feel like, yeah, obviously, like even like weirdly small people are getting getting mimicked on socials, and that's obviously scary and weird. But they can also just put official account. I don't think that really helps you get anywhere. It's really only matters if you're like a pop star, and even then, most pop stars don't have that.
Yeah. The comments actually have an interesting one about what you feel about sponsored posts on TikTok. What do you call it? And I will tell you this. I obviously don't do sponsored posts on TikTok myself, but I do all these consulting calls, and a lot of people have told me the second they do a sponsored post and they advertise on TikTok that unless they do that again, they do not get any engagement. And that is a page from the old Facebook handbook, if there ever was one. Matt?
Yeah. I mean, there's ways to do it properly. Like, if the problem is with all these platforms is if you're running ads and you don't really, really know what you're doing, you can fuck yourself hard. Because the thing is, if you're running ads and you're just kind of going boost, then you're going in front of a bunch of random people, and then that fucks up everything, right? Because you're trying to market a niche product. If you're like able to get it in front of like the exact right set of people, then it's going to work out, right? And you're actually going to see, get relevant people following you and sending you DMs and being like, "Wow, I discovered your thing. It was really cool." And that's what you want out of an ad, ideally. But you're not getting that when you just go big picture and it just ruins you. So, yeah.
Word. Okay, let's do this one with 1820 views.
We went in and we got the critique from the judges, and I mean, we look up to all these people so much. So when I saw that first napkin go up and he's like, Mirror Lake, when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, I think we got this. I think we got this. And then the next napkin, Mirror Lake, the next napkin, Mirror Lake.
It just one after another. And it was just like, it was the craziest feeling. And it was just such a rush.
We were the first band on any episode to sweep all 5 judges. And that just makes my heart beat fast when I talk about it, because it's so cool. Like, that was like the sickest moment, was just knowing that, like, yo, we went in there and we did it. Like, we made it happen.
I remember walking out of there, I was just like, yes, we've got this. Like, we got a real fucking chance at this. Let's do this.
I was taken back by it for sure. I think with all the hard work that we put in, it shows. That was so sick. I'm already, you know, like on fucking cloud a million while I'm out there. So just to see that sweep is just like, bruh. We still have our little napkins. We're gonna get those up. I have an idea of how I'm gonna frame them with the troubadour bracelets or whatever.
We win.
Okay. So am I getting this right? There's a thing by Ash Sumerian Records that he does a talent show. That's right, Matt?
Yes.
So here's the thing about this. This would be fine in a documentary, but I will even be honest. I think that, so for people who don't know, in my day job, I produce podcast documentaries and podcasts a lot, and that's what I do to keep myself entertained. And so one of the things about a documentary is it's not interesting to hear 5 people go, yo, that was crazy. It's one, if you're not adding color and telling stories, you're basically wasting time. So this content, since it was all just, whoa, that was crazy, is the thing. You need to show, not tell. I've just put out a short on this the other day of like, why is more important than what, and showing rather than telling is a big thing. This could have been better if like you were cutting between scenes of this thing. That happened. Matt, you got anything?
It's also just like cropped really weird, and you can tell that a lot of it was cropped from
a wider shot, portrait shot.
Well, that's not like the end of the world, but it has to feel formatted for the platform, and if it's not formatted for the platform, then people just are gonna tap out right away.
Yeah, there's definitely. I've been seeing some really interesting AI stuff that's good about that, but I don't know if it's ready for prime time yet, but that's going to be a big thing soon. This one looks like it's actually about the music. Why don't we watch this one? This looks pretty teachable. Okay, biggest no-no in this, fading the song at the end. The song should loop, not fade down. I think that like really, really, like you could be doing so much better with this. I also feel like the hook could have been a little bit more concise. I kind of, on this one, I could hear where I think the loop should have been, which was about at the halfway part. I also have another note from... I do like the putting band song thing there because one of the more interesting things, Medea, who's one of the only worthy data companies in the music business, actually put up a really interesting thing that about how many people don't know what song is playing. I can't remember the number, but it was absurd. How many people don't know what song's playing in a TikTok. So doing that band Mirror Lake song Somber is very smart. But the big note I have here is, yet again, going off 10% more than you're comfortable with really helps. This POV is like a really powerful emotion that a lot of people have felt, and we all know it's really intense. But the emotion you're doing on the camera, it's feeling like you're holding back a little.
Yes. Which is... I was going to say I don't even know if they're holding back that much as just the lighting and the background. It makes it a little bit tricky to see. You know, I think the best at this is Cheney from Entheos, who like gets millions of views on her singing videos just into her condenser mic, right? Of like her death metal music. But there's like very clear contrast. And I think you can't like be on a black background and have dark hair and be wearing black and expect the video to pop off. Right, it's just too murky.
So yet again in this caption too, you got all the lyrics. No, like that's not a thing. Yet again, how did you feel when this happened to you? Getting the audience to participate in an emotion most people have felt that are above a certain age. You got a lot of potential here, and it's totally wasted by that and by doing. I know a lot of these hashtags are very bad. The interesting thing you have with your hashtag, though, that I should say is that what sometimes can be interesting is, so obviously fans of Sumerian Records watch this show. So having hashtag no cover and hashtag Sumerian Records can help you get into some of those niches. But a lot of these, like rock and alt rock and FYP, are probably some of the most useless hashtags you could possibly do.
Yes, I agree.
Matt, I think we've come to that point where the old man has to go to bed. He's very
old man has to go to bed. I have to go fucking figure out a tour real fast.
Yeah. Well, here's the good news, everybody. We're going to do this again in 2 weeks because I'm going on vacation and moving. But in 2 weeks, we'll be back, not roasting TikToks probably, but doing something else.
We might be on Instagram. We need to talk.
Yeah, I don't know about your idea about this. But yeah, what do you call it? We'll be back doing a different theme. I wrote down some ideas that I, of course, didn't tell Matt. So we'll see you then.
Take care.
Thank you all.